I'm Douglas Worthen from Southern Illinois University Carbondale. This instructional video presents Cycle Set 1 from the IMEA High School auditions in the state of Illinois. Before we get started, I'd like to mention a couple of things about correct hand position in order to help you prepare these auditions in such a way that your hands will be free and move beautifully. The left hand is a very important part of the way we hold the flute. And what I generally do is suggest that you take your hand, open it in a relaxed way this way, and then place the flute right in between your thumb and your index finger. Then when you bring the flute gradually up to your lips, that entire hand will be free and relaxed. The right hand is equally important, and often this is a place when I'm auditioning people that I notice more tension. Often, flute players tend to play with their right thumb sticking way out in front of the tube. If you bring the thumb back in this way, you'll find that this straightens out the right wrist so that there's less tension and these fingers are able to move freely as if on a keyboard, the same way that a pianist would play from above the keys rather than below them. The right hand fingers come from above the keys, and that way, we're able to play this as a keyboard like a pianist from above the keys rather than below them. And that allows us to be able to move our fingers very easily over the keys. The first work on pages 20 and 21 is by Adolf Terschak. He's a Viennese composer who lived from 1832 to 1901. This is a brilliant and fashionable virtuoso piece, which is in the style of composers such as Franz Liszt and Paganini. Although you may not be able to play the Etude at a quarter note equals 100, which is what is written, it's perfectly all right to play it a little bit under tempo, but to still capture the brilliance and excitement of the piece. Now I'd like to discuss some of the details of the preparation of this etude. One of the important things you have to remember is to keep that first F sharp and E in the high register a little bit low because they tend to go sharp. As you're going back and forth with these notes, On that F sharp to the high F sharp. Give a little bit of move forward with the lower jaw, just enough to help those notes so that they don't stick out with accents. If all we do is use our air pressure, we get much more coarse sound. The second point is to remember that we don't have a lot of opportunities in this audition to demonstrate our articulation, and articulation is always one of those elements that are judged on the judging sheet. So use this opportunity in the second measure to decide how you're going to perform that little ornament, the little zigzag that's over the second note written in that measure, the A. I generally play that as an A to a B to an A, and I tongue that A very, very clearly. So I hear rather than a nondescript I measure exactly how many changes that I will have in that ornament. The second part I want to mention is that this piece basically is like a butterfly that's flitting around and alighting on a branch. That branch is the long note, and the flitting around are the 32nd notes. If you land on a branch, say land on one of those long tones, and you don't play it with vibrato and activity, it feels like our butterfly comes down to the branch with a thud and stops. So keep a little bit of vibrato moving on that quarter note. Rather than so that vibrato will help and warm that up. The other probably important thing to any conductor who's judging you is whether or not you play in rhythm. And that quarter note tied to the 16th note should always be accurate. Be very careful about these points and think about your hand position, and I hope your audition goes wonderfully for you this coming fall.